When you begin to compromise with sin, with iniquity, when you begin to compromise with idol worship, when you begin to exalt something else apart from God, that thing will not destroy you immediately. So spiritual anarchisms represent deep-rooted fear, generational stronghold, long-standing areas of bondage, intimidating obstacles that seem impossible. So adequate authority has to do with adequate submission. Are you following me? So I need you to know that there is no possession without dispossession. Before you can possess anything in the natural, part of the issues we are contending with today is because there are things that they did not teach us. If you know what you know now, you will not struggle with what you're struggling with now. Because you see, what obedience does is that obedience expands spiritual capacity. So authority is a trust from God. The greater the trust, the greater the responsibility. God does not end. The day you gave your life to Christ, you are part of him. So you should be able to begin to exercise his nature, his authority, and his power. So no believer is expected to be powerless. No believer. You see, the wilderness generation was delivered from Egypt, but they were not transformed enough to possess Canaan. God had not worked in them through and through for them to possess Canaan. So Joshua's generation was transformed. In warfare, there are things that are left for others. And the degree of your obedience is the degree of the authority you can carry. So authority flows from submission. In God's kingdom, authority is not getting. The king of Moab was losing the battle. Now, in desperation, he offered his heir, the next to the throne. In other words, he offered the future of his kingdom to his God. So this, if you don't have men you have raised in the day of battle, you will become a casualty. In the days of Samson, there were 5 lords of the Philistines. Why were these 5 kings showing up? Because these territories that after the generation of Joshua passed, another generation emerged and they began to sin against God. Why? Because the generation that passed did not teach them about the true God. So when they hold on to something we love, that God is demanding, at the same time, we want to pursue God. We hold on to a relationship and God is demanding for the relationship. But we want to keep the relationship and still keep God. Every day, people choose whose authority they will follow. Either God's will or self-will. Truth or deception. The Bible says, whom you choose to obey, to him you become a slave. That means you have come on. You need to understand that the source where the victory comes from is from God. So God gives Joshua instruction. Joshua gives the people instruction. And the instruction is executed and victory is guaranteed. Those of you that have cars, if your alignment is bad, you know what happens. You have to keep your hand on the steering. Even if your car has auto cruise, take your hand off the steering. You are heading towards the tree. You are going off the road. God will not allow the fathers to take all the grounds. So what God did for the children of Israel was that he often brings us back to the place where we once failed, so that through his grace, victory will be guaranteed there. Something needs to come to an end. There are grounds that our fathers could not conquer. It has become a ground of defeat to us. I've seen people 70 years, 80 years old, they still